Hello, colleagues. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time zone you are. Welcome to Business Analysis Conference, and thank you for all who have joined us recently and who have been staying with us uh, from yesterday. Today is the second day of the conference, and the main lineup of the conference is AI assistance for business analysts. Today, I'm honored to present our invited speaker from Microsoft. It's Sanzhar Myrzagalym. Hi, Sanjay. How are you doing?
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm doing very well. So hope that the previous day and today is full of insights and very interesting for everyone. Thank you for inviting me too.
Thank you, Sanjar. We're happy to see you today with us, and hopefully, we'll get a lot of insights after your topic. Sanjar
Mhm.
is going to present his topic how to integrate AI components into business processes, cognitive services, Azure Open AI, and Copilot. Wow, it's trending now. And I would like to mention that this session is being recorded. The recordings will be available in a couple of days after the conference. And please use our chats in YouTube and their community platform and leave your questions to Sanjar. We'll dedicate the last 10-15 minutes after the presentation to answer all your questions. So I would like to present Sanjar one more time. He is a cloud solution architect for data and AI solutions in Microsoft. And yes, could you tell us a little bit more about you first?
Yeah, of
Thank
course, of course. So hi everyone again. My name is Sanzhar. I'm a cloud solution architect for data and AI, which means that at Microsoft I'm working with our enterprise customers on developing their data and AI strategy, implementing different projects like data warehousing, implementing machine learning uh, use cases for different industries. And so mainly my job is related to building this architecture of how different components that we have in Azure or in the landscape of our customers can integrate with each other, can work in order to fulfill some particular goal. So everything related to data storage, data processing, visualization, ML AI. So I'm part of it, and actually I'm really excited about all of the things happening in this area. I really would like to share with you some of the insights that I have. Okay, so let me continue. So today's topic is about AI, which is very, I would say, interesting topic for everyone nowadays. And one thing that I would like to highlight during my presentation during the next hour is how you yourself can integrate some of these capabilities into your daily work and how Microsoft is doing this. Hopefully after this hour, you'll be able to understand different components available for you and start using them in your daily life. So first of all, of course, the momentum, right? The momentum we have currently I would say since the end of the last year and the beginning of this 2023, we have so many breakthroughs in AI, which has been around for quite some time already, but basically one of the things, of course, ChatGPT really skyrocketed the interest to this area. And so that is why many people are now able to use these AI tools, and there's a big buzz around it. And I'm sure that all of you already tried and are using ChatGPT in your daily work. And I myself do it too. So like generating emails and presentations. But so this is something that is really rapidly integrating into our lives. But again, the trend is clear. So investments into the AI area has doubled from the last year, and well, many companies around the world are investing billions of dollars into this area, because it's something really, I mean, revolutionary happening currently. And we need to catch up, right? We need to keep up with the pace of the what is happening, and we need to understand the capabilities available, because currently the idea is that the technological advantage is now something really that doesn't really matter, because, for example, GPT models, these large language models that GPT is part of, are something that I would say are open to everyone, and everyone can use it. Everyone can create their own version of large language model if they want to, with some experience in coding and understanding some data science and machine learning. And so that is why, since this research is really open to everyone, the technology itself is not a competitive advantage. The competitive advantage is the ability to implement that into some business processes, and this is something that we need to do in our daily lives, in our businesses. So again, yeah, the momentum is great. So we need to really keep up with this one. And again, ChatGPT is something really popular nowadays. OpenAI has done a lot of buzz around it, and of course, Microsoft was our leadership was quite visionary in terms of the capabilities of this platform, and Microsoft invested a lot of resources into OpenAI a couple of years ago, and just recently they announced some even more investments into that company. So that is why we formed this kind of very exclusive partnership between our companies. And now you hear that OpenAI and their models are AI models are being integrated into many of our tools, starting with M365 suite, like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Power BI, and finishing with those tools like GitHub, Copilot, and etc. So I'll be showing a couple of demos during today's presentation, and hopefully for some of you who are not yet familiar with these tools, yeah, that would be some very insightful information. So again, Microsoft actually invested not much of I would say of the money resources, but resources in terms of compute power that we have in our data centers. And in order to implement and to train these large language models, which require a lot of compute power, it was really vital for the implementation of the GPT and other models. And actually, that is why those advancements were possible, because of the compute power that was provided to OpenAI. Again, coming back into the what is happening currently in the world, I would say that I would say that we are facing a lot of challenges currently. So in the world, which are not really like related to the technology, but mainly of how we live, and especially the inflation rates rising, and then the prices for the energy resources, for the geopolitical situation in the world is really challenging, and actually labor costs and labor shortage is quite a problem. So that is why we need to find technological solutions, like overall solutions, but again, technology and of course AI can play a vital role in this in this area. So I think one of the things that really create passion inside me, that to learn this new stuff and to implement that in our daily life is the motivation to solve these problems, at least part of them. So I think many of you you share this passion, and hopefully these technologies will help you to do that. let's start this journey because the audience is quite diverse. So that is why I would like to share some basic understanding of how this generative AI stuff builds up. And of course, we start with the artificial intelligence, which is a term which is, I would say, which is overall covering the whole landscape of different technologies like machine learning, like deep learning, and maybe some things you may have heard like um, uh, image recognition, speech recognition, etc. So artificial intelligence is really covering the term that covers all of these terms altogether, and everything that is being done otherwise, like by people, like understanding. Okay, you see the picture, you see that on the picture we have a car, and we understand that. And in order to computer to implement the same logic, we implement machine learning algorithms. We do some computer vision stuff, and etc. And artificial intelligence is really trying to reach the human parity in doing some our day-to-day jobs, and in some cases now it is doing this job even better than people. So as part of the artificial intelligence, the subset of it is the machine learning. And machine learning is just a set of different techniques that we use in order to implement that logic, to try to vectorize how we call it the world around us, and actually trying to translate what we see, what we hear, what we do, the logic itself, how we understand texts and etc. into the numbers which are understandable by the machine. So machine learning is just a set of tools in order to implement that. After and these things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, they've been around for quite a while. And just recently, I would say, yeah, it's not that long ago, we found out a new technique in implementing artificial intelligence, which is deep learning. So deep learning is another technique that does the same thing, but even more efficient in an efficient way, and with this new technique of actually trying to teach the machine as we could teach the person to do stuff. Like for example, if we teach the children how to walk, or how to speak, and etc. by, for example, um, uh, saying that okay, it's good that you're trying, and whenever they are doing something right, then we are we are actually giving it a praise. Otherwise, we were saying that okay, next time you can do it in another way. So this is actually one of the techniques that is being used in deep learning, which is called reinforcement learning, and actually this is the thing that made it possible to implement many things that we are using currently, like computer vision, like even those large language models were trained on a very similar concept. And of course, something that was created not so long ago is a generative AI. So generative AI is a part of this. I mean, it uses deep learning as a concept in order to implement the same logic to the comprehension of the texts. So actually, one thing that we need to understand at the very beginning is that so all of this generative AI stuff, like GPT models, like Codex models, and others, they are really trying to understand, not trying to understand the world around us, but they were trained on very big corpuses of data. So that could be text data for GPT, for example. They were the researchers at OpenAI. They were using Wikipedia, a set of books, and etc. in order to train a large language model. Then they started scraping the internet for the information, and this information was used to train this large language model. And the hypothesis behind generative AI models were that okay, So we have a sequence of the words, for example, in the context. And what would happen if we will try to predict what would be the next word based on the context that we already have? And this worked very well. And seems like if we add the question into the context, and then it will try to generate the next most the most possible word into the sequence, then it will generate the answer to this question. So without even trying to understand what we asked in the question, we are generating the new words sequence, and in that sequence we have the answers and the relevant context into what we are trying to ask. And after that was observed, many things happened, and seems like when we feed it like huge amount of data, like billions of parameters, trillions of parameters, then it would somehow find the logic behind some things, and it will create some really interesting responses to our prompts. So this is around generative AI, and again, it's already there. It's breaking all of the different industries, and actually one thing that many people are afraid of currently is that the cost of intelligence will come to zero after a while, after some time, because anyone can generate the response through these models, and can use the knowledge and that we have everywhere in the internet. And again, when we search some stuff in the internet, it's one thing, right? So we need to pick something which is relevant. Otherwise, using generative AI, we can combine different topics together and create something out of that completely new. Again, OpenAI and Microsoft has a very good partnership, and this partnership is mainly based on the similarity of our missions. So for Microsoft, it's empowering every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. It's been around for decades, and for OpenAI, it's ensuring that artificial intelligence, general intelligence, benefits humanity. So something that we are striving to. It is this term AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is something that understands everything and can learn anything on the go, and create some value for the people. And when we are talking about this collaboration, we're mainly talking about processing texts. So these are the GPT 3.5 and GPT 4 models. Creating conversational AI using ChatGPT interface, generating code. So we were talking about the Codex model, something which is happening for example, GitHub Copilot, where software engineers can generate code on the go, and it can speed up the process of software engineering, and generating images out of some prompts. And I'm sure that you've heard of all of it, and maybe tried many of these things. But I will show it in the demo. These are some of the examples of how we can implement. Make use of these things. So of course, generating texts is very useful, and this is not only generating, but also it has some particular implementations, like summarizing the text. So for example, if you have a huge email coming from many people, then you can actually get that email, put it into the GPT, for example, and it will summarize the whole email into some action items, into bullet points. And I'm particularly, sometimes I'm using the same thing, and it can work vice versa, just you just give it a prompt with some bullet points, and it will generate some very well versed email that you can use. For example, for the Codex model, which was trained. So for example, if for GPT, it is more about the texts, right? Like the books, like articles in the internet, and etc. For codex model, we're used open repositories of the code, but that were actually, I mean, we have many resources in the internet where you can find snippets of the code, and those code snippets were used in order to train this model, codex model, and now it can generate scripts in many different programming languages like Java, like Python, C, C++, and etc., and even SQL, right? For business analysts, I think it is very relevant that we can generate SQL queries out of natural language. So you can specify as it is shown in this example, you can specify the schema of the table and specify what you're trying to query out of it, and it will generate you the SQL query. And I will show you in a couple of minutes how it is being integrated into some of the Microsoft's tools. And of course, DALI. So DALI was fed like billions of images with some prompts, and now we're trying to do the same thing, but vice versa, right? Giving it a prompt, and then it will generate the image out of it. Yeah, so basically, again, these are the main language models that you need to be aware of. But actually, in the whole technical landscape, there are many language models available. Many different companies are implementing their own approaches in this, and I'm sure that we need to keep track of what is happening, and make sure that we're using the most reliable and the most, I would say, innovative tool. So again, out of this collaboration between OpenAI and Microsoft, we now have this exclusive offerings to the customers. So some of you may know that Microsoft has this cloud platform, which is one of the leading cloud platforms in the world, which is called Azure. And on the Azure, we've been developing many different AI components. We call them cognitive services. And these cognitive services were used for particular purposes. So for example, for the computer vision, we have vision cognitive service. For speech services like speech to text or text to speech, speaker recognition, and etc., we've been using. Sorry for that. We've been using particularly speech services, and we also had language understanding, etc. But now you can see it from here. Azure, we have something called Azure Open AI services. So those are the GPT models that you've been using through the ChatGPT interface, but now they are deployed into Azure platform, and you can use it from here. And it has a couple of, advantages being used through this platform, because for example, when you're using ChatGPT interface, it has a disclaimer under the text box that says, so this tool is being used for the research purposes, and many of your like prompts and the data that you feed it in can be used for the future improvements of this model, and for the fine tuning, for the training of the new versions of the GPT model, and etc. But inside Azure, we have this service level agreement that we guarantee that the data that you fit into that model is not being used anywhere for the research purposes, for training purposes. We don't use it. Your data is your data, and we really actually. We're not trying to use this data in any way. So, and on the same time, in the same time, so the Azure is the most comprehensive platform in terms of the security, and from the security perspective, your data is fully secure, and you have transparent control of everything which is happening with your data. And this is one of the advantages that really commercial companies are utilizing currently. And again, when sometimes when you're using ChatGPT interface, it says that okay, we have a very huge load of users and millions of users are generating prompts at the same time, and sometimes it's not really responsive. In Azure OpenAI, this is the deployment of the GPT model for you only, and that means that you have an SLA for the usage of this model, and you're not waiting in a queue for your request to be processed, and etc. Again, let me just quickly show you how it looks like in the Azure portal, and actually I'm going to share with you the concept behind these cognitive services and how you can utilize these things all together. So let me just quickly switch back to the Azure portal. So what you can see currently is the interface of the Azure portal, where you can actually deploy any kind of service in just a couple of minutes. So we are talking now about AI models. We have many of them, like speech services, language service, computer vision, etc. And between all of that, we also have open AI service, so that you can just deploy in just a couple of clicks. So you just deploy it there, and actually after that you can pick whatever model you would like to use, because GPT itself has many versions, right? GPT-3 has versions like Ada, Babbage, Curie, and Da Vinci, which are distinguished between themselves based on their capabilities. One is good for the language understanding, one is good for the summarization, one is good for the classification. One can be more expensive, the others are cheaper, and etc. And while developing these things, you need to consider all of this stuff. So I have this service already deployed and implemented. So here, and let's go and see how it looks like in that interface. So again, all of the cognitive services can be used from Azure using the respective REST API. So you can interact with these tools using the API. We have this kind of endpoint, and we have APIs, API keys, in order to that you can, just go through the documentation, find some really quick start script, and put in your endpoint and API key, and start interacting with the API. So you don't need to implement any kind of models yourself. You just click and deploy that, and after that you can start using it in your application, in your website, and etc. So this is as easy as that. But again, for you to, for the regular business users, using APIs are not something they do every day. So that is why we've implemented this kind of solution accelerators, like studios, where you can interact with these tools without writing any code. And while it is loading, so this is a part of the overall strategy that Microsoft took a couple of years ago. So that is called democratization of the access to the technology. So that means that in order to implement some machine learning models, you don't have to be like machine learning expert or data science expert. We are trying to give you tools that is as easy as moving some blocks and creating this kind of pipeline without writing any code. For example, for implementing this computer vision or speech services, again, you don't have to be an expert in these areas. The expert researchers in our team already implemented and continuously improving these models and providing it to you as an API, so that you can start using it without spending any time on developing of these machine learning models. And again, we have the studio experience that you can use in order to interact with these models. So we are now in Azure AI Studio, and here we have this very, I would say, familiar experience of the Chat GPT. But here are some fine-tuning options. I will go through them in a minute. But basically, what you can do here. You can start chatting with ChatGPT, and you can see here that this is the deployment of GPT 3.5 Turbo. You can deploy any kinds of other models. GPT-4 is also available, but you will need to request an access for that. But mainly, nothing is stopping you from utilizing GPT just for your own purposes without exposing any kind of information into outside world. So it works just like the regular GPT model. It's utilizing the same engine and generating the texts. It has a couple of fine-tuning options, you can specify the number of tokens that are being used for the response, but more on that just in a couple of minutes. So this is regarding the GPT AI, OpenAI services. We'll come back to it in a minute. But other than that, we also have different services, like, for example, cognitive search for implementing search through the big amounts of documents. We have computer vision, for example, and I have it open here, the Vision Studio, where you can actually pick from different scenarios, like video summary, like for analyzing the video content, extracting text from the images, so implementing the optical character recognition, OCR, like removing background from the images, and etc. So those are the models that are already implemented for you, and you can start using them without any, just putting the image and getting it back, but it happens on the background, and your application is responsible for showing the results, right? So we're trying to empower you to use that technology. So actually, here are examples of how you can do that. Sorry. I will need to check it another time. But mainly, the cognitive services are something that are available for you through the APIs. Okay, so there's also, for example, Speech Studio. So you can utilize Speech Studio in order to implement speech recognition or maybe speech generation. So it means that you can generate speech or recognize speech for any set of languages that we support. And actually, it's just as easy as that. So real-time speech, you just put in some audio file or maybe record it with the microphone, and it starts transcribing here. And one thing that I would like to mention is that these technologies actually are already being integrated into some of our tools that we use in our daily life. So if I switch back to the presentation that I'm currently showing and switch, for example, to the slideshow menu, and you see here this small part always use subtitles, and this subtitle setting can use actually can transcribe what I'm saying in real time. So it starts transcribing, and now I can talk through, and everything that I say will be transcribed under the slide here. Another thing that we can also utilize, that's the combination of the transcribing of the speech to text and also the translation API. So text translation API can be also added into that, and we can, for example, pick here Hungarian language, and And I will continue speaking in English. And the text that I'm saying, the words will be automatically translated into Hungarian language. And this is something. I mean, it's been around for quite a while, but this is the implementation of the cognitive services into our day-to-day products. Yeah, so this is for the speech recognition. We can also we also have this kind of custom vision models that you can actually implement the custom recognition of the objects on the image without writing any code. Without I would say you can train it based on the images that you just add, and you just label them. Say that, okay, this particular part of the image is a bird, or this is the car, and etc. And you just feed it the enough amount of the data. That's usually like 15 images of the same thing from different angles, from different lightings. And after that, it will train the model for you that you can again use through the API, and I mean, implement some particular business scenario for you. So like recognition of the logos in the supermarket or etc. So this is really empowering you to implement AI in your products and focus on implementation of the product, not the technology. Okay, so coming back to the presentation, again, OpenAI services are now a part of the whole like ecosystem of Azure AI, and you can start utilizing it in your daily work. And for example, you maybe many of you are familiar with Power BI, and part of this Power Platform is also Power Apps and Power Automate tools, which are incredible tools that can create some logic, like workflow logic for you for different processes without writing any code. It's an like no code, low code approach, and you can basically what you can do. You can integrate it with again OpenAI services. You can integrate it with computer vision or speech recognition or anything else like form recognizer, and it will actually you can create your customized logic for implementation of the business process. So, and without writing the code, you just integrate it through the API and just create this workflow, what should be done on the next step of this workflow. And yeah, you just need to understand the overall concept of how this business process should be implemented. And actually, in just a couple of hours after you start learning this stuff, you can already start implementing something that will automate some part of your daily routine. Okay, so again, Microsoft is trying to make it like closer to you in terms of the technology, so that it will be easier to use and easier to integrate into your daily work. Actually, we have our set of principles that we use while implementing AI, because AI is currently something that really needs regulation. And in terms of the data usage, in terms of the usage of the resources for the training, there are many disputes happening currently, and so that is why Microsoft, a couple of years ago, we started this motion called responsible AI. So responsible AI means that we're trying, in anything that we do, we're trying to be as much responsible as possible, and helping our customers to actually adopt the same principles, so that they are secure in terms of the usage of the data, in terms of the fairness of the models, and etc. Again, yeah, one of the main parts is the privacy and usage of the data of the customers, and this is something that we take really seriously. But coming back to the exciting parts, large language models are something that really inspires a lot of developers, a lot of business users around the world, and the usages scenarios for GPT, for this LLMs and etc. are really vast, and let me show you a couple of ideas that you can use. Otherwise, um, you can of course generate a couple of them through the GPT, Chat GPT, and etc. But those are the scenarios that we currently see are the most I would say popular between our business users. So, for example, one of the things that we are implementing currently in many of our customers is the call center analytics. So just as an example, we can take the business process of making sure that the quality of the call center experience is as high as possible. And for that purpose, many companies are trying to develop scripts, try to make sure that their operators are adhering to the script, and actually they need to take different approaches, but usually it really relies on the manual work of the people who are listening through these calls, trying to understand what was right, what was wrong, and etc. But now what we can do, we can create this call center analytics scenario where we take the audio files from the telephony server, we put it into some kind of storage, and then we use speech services in order to transcribe it into the text. And from the text, we can actually use this large language models as GPT in order to understand what was the intent of the call, what was the call actually the issue resolved, and many other insights we can just extract it from the text using this NLP techniques, and create prompts so that we will take that valuable information and put it into the reports or put it into some kind of CRM system, and etc. And this is something really hot currently, and we are implementing it in many of our customers. Another thing maybe can be like development for the software products, or even like analytical products that many teams are developing. It's cool that you can actually from the prompt create the code, as I will show you in a minute. But on the other hand, it's really cool that from the code you can create a very good like starting point for the documentation. And this is really exciting because you can feed it the code, and based on this code, it will generate the basic documentation that you can enhance just by adding some of points from yourself. But it helps you to save a lot of time based on what is being generated through LLMs. Here are like a couple of examples of how this architectures can be implemented. I'm not trying to, add a lot of technical parts, but just to show you how easy this architecture works. So, for example, this particular architecture shows the document process automation. So, for example, we have a file share in our company which has like millions of documents, and it's really hard to search through them. We can utilize form recognizer in order to transform it into the machine readable text. And then this text can be used, this documents can be used, searched through cognitive search, because feeding this text into the GPT directly is something which is currently very expensive. So because actually GPT models are being priced based on number of tokens processed, and actually it's not a good idea to feed it directly. So basically, then after cognitive search finds the most relevant documents, we can use OpenAI services in order to summarize the context and then put it into the some kind of interface, like for example chat or web application or some kind of report. And this is something that can be used. Again, the example of the call center analytics, it is also very easy to understand the concept, and can be implemented quite fast. Okay, so let me just quickly go through. I see that we don't have much time, so I'll try to finish in just a couple of minutes. again, we understood how we work with the text, and for example, I also talked through the codex models that's helping you to write code. So this is happening just as you see currently on the screen. So you just add some comments into the code, asking it to generate some piece of code script, and it will generate this code. And if it's looking good, then you just continue coding, and it saves a lot of time. Another thing, so for example, for DALL-E models, like generating images, we also have another thing really being developed currently, which is called Microsoft Designer. And let me just quickly show you how it looks like. So
with just that, Designer immediately generates templates for you based on what you write, and you can get custom-made images based on your ideas. And there's no need to spend time creating a new design on your own or searching through thousands of pre-made templates. As you tell Designer what you like, the design becomes tailored for you. One more click and you have a design ready to go.
Yeah, so this is Microsoft Designer. It is based on the generative AI for images like DALL-E, and it is generating cool designs for your like Instagram posts and etc. And it's really it's really cool. Another thing that is really hot currently is the announcement of the Microsoft 365 Copilot, and the Copilot experience is really I would say interesting, because this is something that I've been doing for quite some time. So I've been generating emails, I've been generating some summaries for big documents. I've been using GPT in order to create slides. You can even ask in the prompt to create the actually the macros, and PowerPoint actually understands macros, and it can create you the slides out of these macros with some custom design or custom topics. And this is something that was implemented already, and inside Microsoft Copilot 365, it will be available. I will just show you briefly two examples of what to expect, and hopefully for the business analyst it will be really inspiring, and me too, I'm really looking forward for that. First is the Copilot for Excel.
Copilot in Excel helps you make sense of all your data. Say you need to analyze this quarter's sales results. You start by asking Copilot to analyze the data and give you 3 key trends. Within seconds, you've got what you need, but you want to drill in. You ask Copilot a follow-up question about one of the trends. Copilot creates a new sheet, giving you a sandbox to play in and helping you better understand what's happening. You ask Copilot to visualize what contributed to the decline in sales growth this period. Copilot adds a little color to make the problem jump off the page. Now you want to dig deeper and ask a follow-up question with a what-if scenario. Copilot not only answers your question, it creates a simple model, and even asks if you want to learn more about what it did, with a step-by-step breakdown. Finally, you can ask it to create a graph of your projected model. Copilot in Excel turned a sea of data into clear insights and actions.
Yeah, this is really cool. So now you don't have to write functions, macros, and etc. In order to interact with your data in Excel, and this is saving so much time, and really looking forward for that. And another thing which is really exciting, and we're looking forward for that, is the implementation of the Copilot in the Power BI.
And let's take a look at how Copilot in Power BI is empowering everyone to quickly find and share insights. For example, say I'm a sales analyst for a hotel and resorts company. Now, with Copilot in Power BI, I can simply describe the report I want to build and get insights in seconds. Maybe we need a new report to help us understand the profile of our customers, to gain insights into what is driving return visits to our properties. I just describe what I need, and Copilot will automatically analyze my data and create a new report based on my needs. Immediately, Copilot created...
Yeah, this is amazing. You see that this person just described what she needs from the data that she already has uploaded. Imported into Power BI, and it just creates this amazing metrics and different graphs in order to represent the data that was asked from it. And actually, there are many other things in just a couple of minutes. I will need to switch back. So that is why let me just quickly go to the last demo for today. So I will just quickly show you that this particular example that we were showing through the chat GPT interface in AI Studio, available through Azure, is not only thing which is available. But what you can also do from here, there's something called, and it was announced just a couple of weeks ago, called grounding. Grounding model helps you to make sure that this GPT model is not using the whole, language that it was fed before, but mainly using the data that you are feeding it, and you can ground it into your data, which is being stored, for example, in your data lake, and after that, it will start answering the questions based on the data that you fed it, and this is really amazing, and it helps you to just a second, to implement various scenarios, like for example, what I did through this particular demo. So I had many documents related to the legislation in Kazakhstan, where I'm based, and in Kazakhstan, I fed it like our constitution, our laws, our codexes, and etc. And actually now I'm able to ask it a question based on the documents that I fed it, and it will ask based on the legislation, local legislation in Kazakhstan. So you see here, so I can actually add it from here. So that's the demo storage that I'm using. Inside of it, I have these documents, and I can also add the instance of the cognitive search, and just give it a name as. And after that, it will train this model, the index of the cognitive search to interact with the data which is stored in this particular location. And after that, GPT model will be limited to the responses based on my data in this particular location. And I'll be able to ask it some legal questions, and it will answer it, hopefully in a correct way. But you always need to, there's a disclaimer, you also need to, again, have this common sense on the answers that it is giving. So this is called grounding experience. So it is available, and you can go to Azure and try it yourself. So we don't have much time, but it will eventually train based on the data, and it will be available for the responses from here, from the chat experience. Coming back, just a couple of words of so many stuff's happening currently. So many companies are leveraging these capabilities currently. But for you, in order to start implementing the things, we as Microsoft are providing a lot of materials, documents, learning paths in order for you to be able to catch up on all of these things really quickly. And I will share these materials with the organizers, so you can actually implement this OpenAI self-service learning guide, which is starting from very zero to hero approach from the very beginning, and coming to the very advanced techniques that you can utilize to implement some very advanced scenarios. Also, we have different certifications for business professionals, for AI engineers, for data scientists, and they have respective learning paths, which are completely free. All the resources that I'm showing are completely free for the learning resources, and you can utilize them in order to start your journey into the AI. And also, we have AI Business School, which is available at Microsoft.com AI Business School. This is more of a for the executive and business users to understand the capabilities of the AI and understand how to implement it and utilize them in our daily practices. So thank you very much. The next steps that I think it is very vital, to identify what are the different use cases in your particular businesses to implement AI into. and start using these services and learning new stuff. And hopefully we will be glad to support you in this journey. So thank you very much. Going forward to the questions. Sorry, we've got only 5 minutes left.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you so much for awesome presentation. We feel that you would need maybe 1 hour more to present all your slides and to share all the information you have, because it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. And I feel that we live in era of data, of speedy gathering the data. So um, the first question, could you update us on when Microsoft 365 Copilot will be launched, as what you have presented, this Excel and BI, Power BI for Copilot is just
Mhm.
amazing to use for business analysts. Yeah.
Yeah, we were also looking forward to that functionality. Currently, it is in the private preview for some of the customers and for internally at Microsoft, and we're expecting it to go to the general availability late at the late this calendar year, or maybe beginning of the next one. So beginning of the next calendar year is something that we are aiming to. I'm also looking forward for that functionality, but we just need to make sure that it is working as expected. So that is why, please aim at the beginning of the next calendar year.
Yeah, looking forward for it. It's amazing, as you said.
Mhm.
And what is your prediction on what knowledge is going to be demanded more as AI usage is growing so fast now, in terms of business people, of like business analysts or product managers who are working? Um, what areas we can focus more to learn more, to be in this growing working society, to be more comparable and
Of course, yeah. So one thing that I think this session may have provided, but and also you can do it yourself, is to be aware of what is happening, right? Because not only Microsoft is doing some cool stuff in this area. There are Google, there are OpenAI, there are some Anthropic, and many companies are doing the same things, and what we need to understand is the capabilities that they are providing, because the underlying technology is quite similar, but the capabilities are different, and different options of how these capabilities can be integrated into the business use cases is different. So that is why what I recommend is, first of all, be familiar with everything which is happening, and for the business users, it's something really, I mean, useful. And I think that hard skills are going to be more and more obsolete as time goes by, because, for example, you saw the Copilot for GitHub. It is generating code, and currently, of course, it needs some guidance, but in the future it may generate the code by itself. So the need for the hard skills is becoming less and less, but the need for the soft skills and the understanding of the business, understanding of how this should be implemented into the business process is becoming more and more, I would say, needed. And so that is why, yeah. So the resources that I just showed you, AI Business School. So this is like understanding of how AI can be implemented for the business usages. This is really vital. So I think everyone on the call who are business analysts, who are business users, who understands business and understands how the flow is going, is on the right track. Yeah, we just need to make sure that we have this understanding of how AI can be integrated into that, and start doing that, because soft skills will be always in high demand.
yeah. Thank you so much, Sanjar, for today, for presentation. It was very nice and useful and awesome for all of us. We ran out of time, so we just want to thank
Thank
you
you.
one more time for joining today. Have a
Yeah.
good day, and thank you everyone for joining. The next speaker will be Vikas Agarwal with the presentation Unlocking Potential, Conceptual Thinking in AI and machine learning. Thank you, Sanzhar. Have a
Thank you
good
for
day,
having me. Thank you.
everyone. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.